So today, the fascists who we've seen over the last week attacking mosques and refugee centres and Muslims threatened to come to Harrow to attack a legal centre that supports refugees. And we've seen this massive community response with people from across the borough and neighbouring boroughs come together to say the fascists are not welcome in Harrow, that their Islamophobia is not welcome in Harrow, that their defence of Israel's genocide and the government's rhetoric that's fueled that in supporting Israel's genocide and attacking Muslims is not welcome here. So we had a huge turnout of people to oppose them, and in the end the fascists didn't show up as far as we can tell. And we're one of many protests that have happened around London and around the country this evening. I believe there's been several thousand in Walthamstow, hundreds in North Finchley, in Brentford, and cities across the country. And it's a very strong message to any fascists who felt emboldened in the last few weeks to carry out attacks on Muslims and who feel that because they have the support of the kind of rhetoric that Keir Starmer's government and the Tories before them have used, that they can do what they can, that they will be met with resistance and we will stop them. So I think we've had 2 decades of the government demonizing Muslims to justify their wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, and the ongoing genocide in Palestine. That has created the rhetoric that the far right organize around. We've also seen them attack refugees as scapegoats for their austerity policies that have impoverished so many people, to divert blame from themselves. And the reason I think that it's come together in this way right now is because for 9 months we've seen one of the biggest mass movements in a very long time over Palestine, and the government has tried to attack us by demonizing Muslims and calling us hate marchers and terrorist sympathizers and all the rest of it. And that has given the grounds for the fascists to organize against us. And I think that's why they're doing it now. And they feel emboldened. They came on that Tommy Robinson march a couple of weeks ago and saw that they had a lot of numbers and they feel strong. But today has been a strong message to them that there are many more of us than there are of them. Absolutely. I mean, what we've seen from the politicians and the media is to not call it Islamophobia, to not call them fascists, to call it disorder and protests instead of riots and pogroms, which they really are. And it's because they are culpable. They have been spreading that Islamophobic bile, that anti-refugee rhetoric for so long, and now they don't want to use the right terminology because of that. And the problem is, if they carry on doing this, they will carry on legitimizing the fascists as if they're normal expression of grievances that people have. And it's absolutely wrong. But from what we have seen, because of that, we cannot rely on them to correct their own narrative and to say the right things. We need to implement that on the ground and on the streets, and that's what we're doing.